Hey everyone, welcome to your University, the place where we talk all about the Dragon Ball universe. Today we are going to go through Goku discovers that his grandfather was the strongest Saiyan of all time. And if you would like to see more Dragon Ball content, please leave your like and subscribe to join our University. Dragon Ball has always been known for its incredible roster of powerful characters, but its strongest have always been the Saiyajins. Saiyajins are known for their innate fighting abilities and their ability to become stronger through battles and near-death experiences, also known as Zenkais. Thanks to their unique physiology, Saiyajins are often some of the strongest characters in the world. Throughout Dragon Ball's long and historic legacy, many Saiyajins have become the strongest warriors in the series, with some even reaching godlike levels of power. We know that the Saiyajin have always been and always will be an especially powerful race, considering their warrior nature and their ability to always be getting more and more powerful. But what if in the past there was just the most powerful Saiyajin of all time, completely surpassing Goku in all kinds of abilities? What kind of lineage does Goku carry in his veins to, in this day and age, be equally or perhaps with the ability to be even more powerful than his own grandfather? Let's talk about all of that in today's video. The legend of the original Super Saiyajin, Yamoshi, is almost confirmed to be the same legend as the original Super Saiyajin God from Dragon Ball. The legend tells of a brave Saiyajin warrior who gathered a group of pure-hearted Saiyajins to fight against the evil plaguing planet Vegeta. With the combined power of his comrades, the leader of those righteous Saiyajins became a Super Saiyajin God and was able to defeat the evil Saiyajins temporarily. It turned out that the power was too great for his body to handle, and his life was extinguished soon after. Thus the barbaric and evil ways returned to planet Vegeta. Although his power is known only through myth, seeing the power granted to Goku when he ascended to Super Saiyan God and challenged Beerus in a battle that threatened to destroy the entire Dragon Ball universe, it seems reasonable that Yamoshi himself would have comparable power. However, this is purely speculative, as it is not known whether it was just Goku's access to God Ki that granted him a huge increase in power, or whether it was his decades of training that culminated in the ability to tap into even a fraction of a god's power. The Saiyajin race has clearly produced some of Dragon Ball's most powerful characters to date. From the legends of Yamoshi to fan favorites like Gohan and future Trunks, many of these proud warriors have cemented their legacies as some of the strongest martial artists the series has ever seen. That being said, let's comment a bit on some of the Saiyajins who could explain to us about Goku's current abilities, starting with his father Bardock and wandering into the past to his grandfather previously unknown to us all. Goku's father is one of the most respected characters in the Dragon Ball franchise. Despite his sparse appearances throughout the narrative, his impact on the story, however, places him right at the center of the origins of what soon became the undoing of Frieza, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Space. With the plot developments in Dragon Ball Super, Bardock's story has undergone major changes since his introduction in the 1990 TV special titled Dragon Ball Z. Bardock, Goku's father. The changes had interesting consequences for Dragon Ball from here on out, and in the Granola the Survivor Saga of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Bardock's story was given a bit more context, removing it even further from the original. The differences are glaring. However, it is undeniable that the popularity of the character has come since his initial introduction. So what are the differences in Bardock's story before and now, and how have they influenced Dragon Ball lore? Bardock is first introduced as a capable member of Frieza's Saiyan forces, leading his successful battalion on missions to decimate planets to prepare them for sale on Frieza's planetary market. While a low-class warrior, Bardock successfully leads Toma, Fasha, Shigsh, and Borgos into combat on several occasions, proving to be a diligent subordinate until he realizes that Frieza intends to annihilate the Saiyajin race. After a successful invasion on the planet Kanasab, Bardock is taken by surprise by a weakened survivor who grants him the characteristic ability of his people, Premonitory Prediction. The Kanasan believes that granting Bardock this ability will ultimately serve as revenge for the various crimes he and his troops commit as members of Frieza's army. While recovering on his way home, Bardock has visions of Frieza's destruction of planet Vegeta, as well as the salvation of Earth due to Goku's efforts, but he considers them illusions. While Bardock is still recovering, Frieza begins to put his plan into action, sending Bardock's troops to eliminate the defenses of Planet Meat. However, after the successful invasion, Bardock's colleagues are ambushed by the elite squadron of one of Frieza's fiercest subordinates, Dodoria. Bardock, though not fully recovered, makes his way to Planet Meat after hearing of their whereabouts, arriving to find that only Toma is still alive, but in critical condition. He manages to tell Bardock what happened, as well as Frieza's plan to exterminate the Saiyajins revealed to him by Dodoria. Bardock vows to avenge his friends when Toma dies in his arms and takes his blood-soaked armband, which becomes Bardock's trademark. Bardock is also ambushed by Dodoria's squad, but manages to take advantage before Dodoria nearly kills him. Left for dead, Bardock realizes that his visions are not illusions, but premonitions. Seriously injured, Bardock returns to planet Vegeta to tell the other Saiyajins what happened, but they simply don't believe that Frieza would do this to them, given how lucrative their work is. Bardock then makes his way to Frieza's ship, where he fights legions of Frieza's forces while calling out to the space tyrant, but with a single finger and a flick of the wrist, Frieza laughs wildly. All is obliterated in the aftermath of his supernova. As Bardock is vaporized, he has one last vision: his youngest son, Kakarot, defeating Frieza named Kuzai, which leaves him smiling at his death. Dragon Ball Super. The Broly movie was the introduction to Bardock's reprise story, necessary to make Broly's story canonical. Bardock and his colleague, Leek, are shown in the middle of a battle on an unknown planet when they are ordered by their scouts to return all Saiyajins to planet Vegeta. Upon their return, Bardock sees Frieza's ship hovering over the planet and deduces that something is up. He goes home to Jin, who tells him that Kakarot must come out of his incubator soon because it has been about 3 years. Bardock tells Jin about what he thinks is about to happen, including the fact that some of Frieza's forces were asking about the Super Saiyajin legend. Fearing for his son's life, Bardock chooses to send him off-world to a peaceful planet known as Earth, which he was exploring. If he was wrong about Frieza's reasons for summoning the Saiyajins to planet Vegeta, then they would simply go to Earth to retrieve his son. A month later, Frieza would perpetrate the genocide of the Saiyajins, with Bardock trying in vain to stop him, and King Vegeta trying to assassinate Frieza, similar to the original story. Chronologically, this is placed after the destruction of planet Cereal by the Saiyajins, in which Bardock spared the lives of a young Cerealian boy and his mother because he imagined seeing his son Kakarot and his wife Jin in the same situation. After lying about the total extermination of the planet, a member of the Heater family, a group that once had an unequal partnership with the Space Emperor, finds the surviving Cerealians and kills the mother before Bardock can intervene. Bardock is busy fighting gas, but manages to overcome his limits and win, leaving his scouter behind. During the events of the Granola Saga, Goku would fight the surviving Cerealian named Granola, learn about his father's kindness to them, and engage in a tense battle against Gas. Goku would also receive Bardock's tracker, which was equipped with audio recordings of the fight with Gas. Hearing his father's voice triggers a brief memory in Goku of his father putting his hand on the window of his incubator and telling him to be strong. In the original story, you have Bardock, the Saiyajin warrior whose only interest was fighting and being good at his job as a planetary mercenary. The change to the original character of Bardock would then be initiated by the last Kanasan, an individual who saw his own and the disappearance of the Saiyajins long before Bardock's arrival and granted Bardock the same gift curse. With the fate of his people at stake, Bardock understands how wrong he was to ignore his son because of his weakness, and part of the reason Bardock can fight with such fervor despite being badly injured at the time is because he is spurred on by visions of Kakarot facing Frieza himself. In death, Bardock's biggest regret is that he never held baby Kakarot. In Dragon Ball Super, however, Bardock is almost always a noble character on some level, with his kindness to the Cerealians being proof that this is independent of Frieza's betrayal. Bardock's relationship with Jin is also important, as it shows Bardock's uniqueness as a Saiyajin who valued relationships and close connections. His final stand against Frieza is less about protecting the future because he has seen how horrible it gets, to protect the future because his son will be in it. Bardock in Dragon Ball Super almost gives a genetic aspect to Goku's most important trait, his kindness, not to mention that this new story has given the franchise a chance for Goku to dig even deeper into who he is, which has been a very important goal for the series going forward to detail the characters in a way that opens up the story to different realities. That being said, considering that Goku and Bardock's backstories were so well explored, featuring both sides of the Saiyajins, it wouldn't be strange to witness a consecutive presentation of the warrior's even more distant past, pointing to the time of Goku's grandfather as one of the most honorable and powerful warriors of all time, marking his generation and perhaps inspiring Bardock himself to become as he was. Or maybe it was just part of his blood. After all Saiyajins have powerful warrior blood capable of always reaching great levels, but once we know that possibly the ancient Saiyajins were absurdly powerful, brave, and true warriors, we will be able to say with certainty about the origins of Goku's powers, personality, and ability to evolve. But what about you? Would you like to know more about Goku's grandfather? Do you think he could have been very powerful, just like his grandson, or maybe even more so, almost like the real Saiyajin of the original legend? Leave your opinion in the comments. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions for videos, don't forget to comment here below, because I'll be reading all of them as I always do. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content from your university.